I'll be helping you today. And what we're going to do today is we are going to learn about um, data, writing data and reading data from a file, and different types of file extensions. Okay, so you guys might have seen file extensions before. If you've seen JPEG like JPG, GIFs, GIFs, MP3s, MP4s, all those are called data extensions. And all those data extensions have different kinds of data in it. The data we'll be looking at is mostly the text files, .txt files, that Python can read easily, and your note editors can also read easily. And what we're going to do is we're going to write to that file, and we're going to read to the file and manipulate data. What we're going to do, our small mini project, is we're going to make a like a quiz for students that they have to answer what is the capital of this, and then we're going to do the 50 states, and then they have to we have to make different questions for different students. So everything's going to be randomized. Okay. So let's take a look at that first. Let's learn how to read and write data. So what I want you guys to do is on your desktop, if you guys have Windows, just look at your desktop. If you have a Mac, just go to the desktop folder on the Finder, or just click on your desktop. Just right click, and then we're going to click on New, and we're going to click on New Folder, and just make a new folder. And this folder, we're going to call it Python read and write. Okay. Python read and write, and then just double click, open it. Okay. So of course you just made this file, so it should be empty. Okay. And here in this folder, we're going to have our files and our Python file. Okay. Now to make our Python file be here, what we're going to do is we're going to click on File, New. So we're already in our Python shell. So make sure you click on your Python shell. Oh, it came down. Okay. So we have our Python shell, and then we're going to click on File, and we're going to click on New File. Okay. So File, New File. On Mac, it should be on the top bar. So click on File, New File, and you should get a blank screen. Okay. This blank screen is your is where you're going to write your script. Okay. Now to start off with, we're going to write a file. So the file doesn't exist. Oh, sorry. We're actually supposed to save first. So let's save first. So when I click on File, Save. Okay, and make sure you point to your desktop and click on Python read and write. Okay. Yes. What's your question?
I can't make a new file.
I'm sorry?
I can't make a new file.
What do you mean?
Whenever I right click, it just does nothing. It highlights the whole entire page. That's it.
You mean from here, from your shell? Because all you have to do is click on File and then click on New File.
Yeah, I have a Mac.
Yeah, that's why. All you do is you click, make sure your shell is clicked, then click File, New File. It should be the same for Mac.
It's not.
Can I see your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your file, new file is up here. So click on your shell. Click on there. Okay, so now you see on the top left, it says File, all the way in the top left. Yeah. Click on File, a new file.
Thank you.
There you go.
¿Esto me va a poner?
Okay. So let's go back to my screen. So we have the Python shell. Oh yeah, so we're gonna click on File, Save, and then once we click Save, we need to point to the desktop and Python read and write. Okay, so that's where we're gonna write all our stuff. The name of the file, let's just call it read and write. And just save. Okay. Now, if you see, then your file is now here in your folder. Okay, so all we did right now is just save the file in the folder, and that's it.
I'm like, can you guys like clear it up a bit? I'm kind of just trying to.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm kind of stuck, so can
Do you want to
you
share your
guys?
screen so I can see what's going on?
So I created a new file, and so do I push the update shell?
What? No. No. Okay. So what you do is you made your folder, right, on the desktop?
Yeah.
Okay. So no. Click on your idle. No. Your idle's already open.
Oh.
Okay. Now click on file. So the top left, you see it on the top left is this file? Yeah. File. Click on it. New file. Okay. So this is your empty file. Okay. Now go back to file and we need to save this file in the desktop. So click on file and click on save. Okay. And then click on where. And we're looking for desktop. Looking for desktop. Where's that new? Yeah, try it. You made a folder, right? Can you click on desktop again? Can you browse through stuff? So click on the desktop. Click on the little arrows. You can't browse through stuff. That's interesting. Okay, just download it on desktop. That's fine. Put it on desktop. And just save it as, just call it read and write. Where it says save as, click on that. And just type in read and write.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So let's go back to my presentation. Okay, so once we have that saved, that should be there, and then we have our file. Now, let's start writing a file because we don't have anything here. So what we're going to type is, we're going to type file1 because this is our file. We can't call it file because file is already taken. It's a system, or it's a Python variable. So we're just going to call it file1. And we're going to use this command called open, okay? Now, this command called open requires two things. Well, technically one, but because the other one's assumed. But if you don't want it to do that thing, then it requires two things. The first one requires what's the name of the file. So depending on where you saved your file, that is where the files are going to be written, and it's going to be read and it's going to be written. So you have to be careful with where you wrote your file. If let's just say this is an example, so just take a look at the screen. Don't do this. So let's just say I have a folder called files, and in here I have my text file, right? I have blah, right? So in here, my file, my Py file, is outside of files. So if I want to access files, I have to say go to files and then look for blah.txt, right? But if blah.txt is out here, then I don't care about files. Okay, so you have to be very careful with directories. Okay. In this case, we don't care about the subdirectories where everything's going to be at level, so the same place where read and write is. So here we're going to make a file. I'm just going to say test.txt. Okay? You can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it test. .txt is also important, but you can change this to something else like .fernando. That's also fine. But if you're trying to read this with the system reader, it's not gonna it's not going to recognize it. So usually if you write txt, it's friendly for a text writer. And then the next one is what option do you want? So if you guys don't know this, this is called a quotation mark. The quotation marks in Python, it's for a data called string. In this case, here we're specifying a string called the name of the file. And then here we need to specify an action. So the action we want, there's three types of actions. There's W for write, R for read, A for append, okay? W is you write once, and then if you close the file and open it up again, it's going to erase everything that's in there, and it's going to start from blank. So let's just say if I have, let's just say if I have this, blah.text, and I have, hello, my name is Fernando, right? If I save this, right? So here, let's just say I'm Python and I just wrote this. So I wrote this and I'm good, okay? Now, if I rerun this and I wrote something else, let's just say I wrote A is for Apple, it's going to completely erase everything and it's going to say A is for Apple, right? So this is called writing, where you're deleting everything and you're writing to the file again. If you don't want that, if you want to add to the end of this, then you use a command called append, okay? And then that append would say, if I write F is for Fernando, then it would go to the end of the file and it's going to write F is for Fernando, right? So depending on what you're doing, if you want to get rid of everything that's in the file, then you would write the W. If you just want to append or write or continue where you left off, then you just write A for append, okay? And then finally, if you just want to see what's in the file or read what's in the file, you do R, okay? R is for reading, so you read the file, okay? So what we're going to use is we're going to use W. We're going to write to a file. This file doesn't exist, so W takes care of that. If a file doesn't exist, it automatically creates it. And in this case, it's making a file called test.txt. Okay. So here we're gonna write. So file1 is our file object. So we can say file1.write, and we want to write to the file. And what do we want to write? Here we need to specify a string. In this example, I'm just going to say you guys can write your first letter of the name and then is for your name. So just like F is for Fernando, right? You guys can write something else, but I'm just writing F is for Fernando. And then I'm going to close my parentheses, okay? You guys have to be careful with parentheses. This is an open parentheses and this is a closed parentheses, okay? Quotation marks are the same. This is an opening quotation mark and it's a closed quotation mark, okay? And make sure your text is in green text. So that means, that is a string, okay? So once we have that, if you run this code, this will technically run, but there's a problem. The problem is whenever you do an action in a computer, the computer never does it at that moment. It does something called, it sends it to a buffer. So what the whole purpose of the buffer is not to do the same command over and over and over and over again, because other processes need that need that space or that the CPU power. So what it does is allows it to do multiple commands. Once that's done, once you're done with that object, then you have that whole package, and then you pass it through, and then Python does the actual writing. So here we're creating a buffer, and then we're just writing this, and it's stuck in the buffer. It's you haven't flushed it, so you have to flush the buffer in order to clear the buffer and then send all the information into the file. To do that, we do file1 dot close. Okay, so here it closes the file, and everything that was in the buffer now gets pushed into the file, and then you can see everything. So now, if you press F5 on the keyboard, so it should be all the way on top, the key that says F5, or press run and then run module. It says source must be saved. Okay to save, and just press OK. And now you should get this. You should get a restart, and then you should get 3 greater than signs. If you got that, you did a good job. If you got some sort of red text like this, that means you misspelled something or you forgot parentheses somewhere. So just make sure you're careful with your code. Now, if you double check your desktop, now you should have a file called test.txt. If you double click that text, now you should see what you wrote in it. In this case, I wrote F is for Fernando, and it's now there in that text file. Okay.
Fernando, let's let's do a review. Each one explain what so far you understood. The different commands you are coding Python to do.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna quickly get some water. My throat's like super dry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead and do it. So guys, can you show me what, or explain to me what read, write, and append commands do in Python, and also give me a real-world example for buffering. All right, let's go first, Sage. Explain the command write that Fernando showed. Can you show your screen first? Go ahead and go to, yeah, okay, good. All right, yeah. Again, explain it to everybody. What does the W do? The command W there within the bunny ears, what does it do?
It right, it
writes.
Yeah, it writes
You're doing good.
it writes file.
Okay, that's good. Can you execute your file? Can you run your file, the code?
I don't know how.
All right, let's go to Sahasra. Don't leave the presentation mode. Just stay there, but we'll see. Sahasra, go ahead.
You want me to share my screen now?
Screen, and then explain what your command does, and then run the program.
So for the first one, so I think file 1 is supposed to open the text, which is S is for Sahasra, and then it's supposed to close it again. So basically the first line opens it, the second line describes what it is, and the last line closes it.
Very good. Can you run this script?
That my W is not valid.
Because you have a space bar after W. Erase the space after the W.
It said file 1 is not defined now.
You misspelled file 1. You see the last file 1?
Oh.
It says flee 1.
The computer needs to know exactly. It does not like any mistake. It's not like human beings, right, Sahasra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it's
Okay.
No red lines.
What do I do now?
Okay, now to see the file that you wrote, in yours, click on Finder and then go to Documents. So click on the little face, yeah. Now go to Documents. Now you see there, it says sahasra.py and then it says test.txt. That's the text file you just wrote. So double click on it. And then you see it says S is for Sahasra. There you go. So now it's working.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, very good. Do you understand?
Yes,
Can you teach this to somebody?
maybe.
Maybe. That's good. Okay, let's go to Samantha and then we'll go back to Sage. All right, again, explain what the W command does, what it means, and then run the code.
Wait, can you see my screen or?
Yeah, we can see your screen. We're seeing it.
Very
Okay.
good.
So for the first line where it's open and it has W, so since it's like a test file, so W is usually to like, it's similar to when you open it, basically, I guess, right?
Well,
and
W
then,
is to write, right?
yeah, to write. And so then for the second line, it's going to write S is for Samantha, and then the last line is to close the file, or like to end it, basically.
Yeah, and then do you know where the file is being saved?
It's being saved in the folder.
Okay, can you check your folder? There you go. Perfect.
All right, let's go to Sage now. Very good. So while Sage is doing watch, and then meanwhile, think about how you can use the read command and then the append command, all of you. And Sage, are you able to show us your code?
So,
Very good. Okay.
and so the first line, you open the file and the right means it'll write F is for Sage in the file, and the third line it closes it. It closes the file.
Okay. And run it.
What do I do? I don't. That's it.
To run the file, there's a key on your keyboard called F5. If it doesn't work, then just on the top on the menu bar, just click on Run and then Run Module.
One.
So at the top, yeah, click Run. It says Run. The menu bar on the top.
Oh.
Yeah, Run, and then Run Module. Just press OK. Okay. So now you have a error. It says bulk object is not callable. The reason why it says that because it's the command is not closed. It's just closed. So there's no D in closed.
So 1 second, Sage, can you read the red lines? Hold on, go back to the screen. Can you read what the error says? This process is called troubleshooting when you are writing code. So how Fernando found out, how did he find out the specific error that he described in your code? Can you read that out?
Um,
Read it out loud. I just wanted to hear it.
bool, the object is not compatible.
Sorry?
It's not,
Bool, the object is not compatible.
callable,
Callable.
not compatible.
Callable.
Like this object, you are not, it is not able to call the Python engine is not able to call it. And then go to what is the line where it starts with file? And then the opening bunny ear / users, line 3. Now go look at your line 3 of your code. Go to the other screen and look at your line 3. And what is line 3? What is there? What is it saying about?
It says write stages for.
Is that line 3?
It's line 3, buddy.
Oh, that's it.
Count from the top. 1, 2, 3. The third line. It's complaining about the third line.
Yeah, it said to close.
All right, so you already are fixing it.
Yeah,
So you figured it out, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so there's
Right.
no D, remember.
yeah.
Remember, the computer does not understand if you make a punctuation error, if you miss a comma, if you miss a colon. So now go ahead and run it.
Yeah, make sure you remove the D. Yeah, now run it. And there you go. Okay, so now check out where that file is. So your stuff is on the desktop. So let's click on your Finder. Yeah. And then go to desktop. There. Okay, and then you scroll down, and then you will see a file called. Keep going. Yeah, right there. It says test.txt. If you double click it, or if you want, yeah, if you see the preview, it says S is for Sage. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So let's move on. Now let's go back to my screen. Now the next thing we want to do. Okay. Let's see. The next thing we want to do is we want to write. This is stuff we can do manually, right? We can open a file and then write our thing. But what we want to do is let's just say if we have a bunch of files, a bunch of lines, then we want we want Python to automatically write all those files, those lines, I mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to write numbers 1 through 50 to the text file, and we're going to append a number every time. I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to write a number every time we are going to write to the file. So here, we're going to write a for loop. A for loop is a loop that runs a certain amount of times. A while loop runs under a condition. So we're going to write for I in range. And since we're going to do it 50 times, I'm going to write 50 here. Okay, close my parentheses and put colons. Okay, and then after that, the line after that, I'm going to indent. So I'm going to press tab, and it's going to indent the line. Okay, indentation is really important in Python. Anything that is indented follows the command that is on top. In this case, the command is called for, so it runs under the for loop. If this is not indented, then that means this does not follow the for loop. So we indent that, and we have .write. Instead of F is for Fernando, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a string, so I have the quotation marks, and I'm going to write this is line colon space. Okay, so this is line, and then here what I want to do is I want to add. So there's one way of adding these two things together. It's called appending. So we're going to use a plus sign. So we say plus. Just combine two things together, and we're going to add I. So I'm going to type I. Okay. Now this will give us an error because in programming languages, there are certain data types that don't like other data types, okay? In this case here, we have two different data types. This, remember the quotation mark stuff, it's called a string. Here, this I is this thing that's looping for 50 times. This is actually something called an integer, okay? So I is an integer, okay? And what is that? An integer is a whole number, okay? So this whole number is going to go from, it starts at 0. When this thing loops, it's going to go to 1. And then it loops again, it turns to 2, 3, 4, all the way to 50, or I guess 49, because this loops 50 is exclusive, but it starts at 0. So there is 50 things, but it starts at 0. But the purpose of this is that I is an incrementing value. It's a variable that increments, so it slowly goes from 0 to 1 to 2 and so on and so forth. Okay, and most important thing is that this is an integer. Okay, so the problem here is that strings don't like integers. So what we need to do is we need to convert this I, an integer, into a string. To convert this into a string in Python, we type in str, and we're going to put parentheses around the I. Okay, str is short for string. Okay, this converts a string, converts whatever is inside the parentheses into a string. Okay, so it's going to read, this is line 0, this is line 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, now I don't want to start it at 0 because whenever I say I start at 0 or I start, this is position 0, it sounds kind of weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I plus 1. So it makes sense to us. So we're going to say this is line 1, this is line 2, and so on and so forth. Well, I don't want to start at 0. Okay, so we have our thing. Okay, so we're going to we're going to press F5. We're going to run this. Okay, and then our code should be done. Okay, remember, code runs really fast. So if we take a look, if we double click, or if I open test.txt, sorry, it appears on my second screen. Then this should pop up. This is line 1, this is line 2, and so on and so forth, right? Now, we do have a problem. Our problem is that this is one huge line. So this line goes on until we have 50, right? But what we want is we want each line to be a separate line, something like this, okay? So what we need to add is something called a end of line. So the end of line or new line is, so I'm going to close this, is here. After we have this is line and then the string, we're going to add another plus sign, and we're going to type quotation marks /n. Okay, this slash is important. Please don't confuse it with the other slash. The other slash is this slash. This slash is division. Okay, so this slash next to near the question mark is division. Okay, slash, this is a this is backslash, and this is forward slash. This is a character escape. Okay. And what character escape means, this is a special character. So I can put N for new line, T for tab, I forget the other one. Was it Q? I forget what Q is. Oh, double slash or quotation marks for special quotation marks. So the one we're using is N. N is for new line.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I can't find that backward slash on my keyboard.
That backward slash, it's next to, so on my keyboard, it's right above the enter button, below the backspace button.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be like a slash. Yours works, right?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, good. Okay, so once you run it, press F5, run it, and it should be done instantly. So you go back to the text, open up the text, and now this is exactly what I'm looking for. We have, this is line 1, 2, 3, all the way to 50. Okay? Is everyone good here? Does everyone's code work?
Yeah.
Okay. Sage, does yours work? Sahasra, does yours work?
I'm still typing some of it.
Ah, okay, okay. So while you guys type, I'm going to share something to you guys. I'm going to share you guys a Google folder that I'm going to have text in there, and you guys will download it. So let me. Okay. Can you guys check your let's see. Can you guys check the messages thing, the chat? I have posted a link. Click on that link, and then you should be able to open a file, and it's called capitals.txt. Right click and then download it. Let me know if you're done downloading. And also, when you're done downloading it, drag it into your where you're doing all the stuff. So if you put it inside a folder, drag it inside your folder. If it's just a desktop, put in your desktop. If it's the documents, just put in your documents. So remember, we're putting it in the same level as your Python code.
Wait, where do we put the downloaded
So
file?
I don't know exactly what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, share your screen so I can
Yeah.
see what's going on. So yeah, so when you're done writing, downloading capitals, you put it in the same folder. You see how I have Python read and write, and just put it inside inside there. Can you share your screen so I can see what's going on? Sage. You can't hear me, but I can hear you. I guess Sage is. Okay. Well, did yours work, Sahasra?
No, it wasn't working.
Can you share your screen so I can see what's going on? Okay, so it looks like you have some problems with the quotation marks and the parentheses. So the open parentheses start after str, so that's good. And then the closed parentheses should go after 1, not after the end. So erase that parentheses at the end. And then it's after 1. Okay. And then you're missing 1 quotation marks before the slash. So before the slash, yeah, you're there. Before the slash. No, before, not after the slash. Yeah. Correct. Now press F5 and it should work. Or run it. Yeah. Oh, invalid syntax. Oh, you're missing one last parentheses at the end. So the after the end, yeah. Parentheses. Close parentheses. Perfect. Run it.
Just say it. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear me?
We're able to hear you, Sage.
It says.
Okay. So Sahasra, so yours looks like it's working. Check on the file. Remember the file where we looked at the file? It's right there. Test.txt.
Is it applications?
No, it's under what's yours? Documents. Yep. And see, you have all those lines. So good job. Okay. Sage, you still can't hear us?
Sage, try again. By the way, anybody that's not presenting, you should mute yourself. Yeah, so Sage, can you hear us now? Can you hear me? Your audio was working.
Try coming back in and try to get out and come back in. Maybe restart the connection.
Yeah, rejoin. Samantha, you were able to hear, right? Samantha?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. All right.
All right. So let's get back. So while Sage comes back. So yeah. So now we have these things, and make sure you downloaded this. Did you download this, Sahasra? Did you click on the link I put on the comments and download it?
Download what?
It's a text file. So go to the chat, and then I posted a link. Click on that link.
Yeah.
It should be on Google Drive, and just download it. Once it's done downloading, click and drag it. I'm sorry?
All I see is capital text, and it says Alabama's to Montgomery, Alaska's to...
Yeah. So just right-click and download it. Okay? So once it's downloaded, click and drag it into your documents, because your stuff is in documents.
When I right-click, it's not downloading again.
It's Google Drive. Just how do you download stuff in Google Drive?
I'll share my screen with you.
Were you able to download it, Samantha?
Yeah, I downloaded it.
Like when I
Okay.
right-click,
So
nothing happens.
hold on. No. Okay, so click on the grayed out area. So click on the sides. No. Okay, you know what? Just move your mouse up. Go up. You see how there's a print button and then a download button? Click on the download button.
Oh, I see the
Yeah. Okay. Now click and drag that into your Finder. So open up your Finder and then go to Documents again. Go to Documents. Now click and drag capitals.txt into there, Documents.
Wait, which one?
Capitals.txt. You see it's down here on Google Chrome. No. Capitals.txt. Down here. Bottom, no, on Google Chrome. It's down here. No, down. Keep going down. No, it's down here, near your application bars on the bottom.
Oh,
You see it says capitals.txt on the left-hand side? Left, on the left. Yeah, capitals.txt. Where's your mouse?
over here.
You know where you, no, down at the bottom. Bottom. There. Yeah, that one, huh? Click and drag it into your Finder. No, don't open it up. Click and drag it into your Finder.
I think I lost my.
There you go. And click and drag it in there. There you go. Perfect. Hey, good. That's what we're looking for. Okay.
What about others? Sage and Samantha, were you able to do this?
I think
Yes,
Samantha was
I
able
was
to do
able.
it.
Yeah, I did.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
And Sage, did you do it?
Well, no, I did not. I'm trying to.
Okay. You want to share your screen so we can quickly help you? Are you able to click on the link and then download it?
Yeah, so I'm using my school email, so I can't exactly go on the link. So.
It's just Google Drive though.
Yeah. Because it says I need permission or access.
Wait, but you're using a Mac, right? Isn't this your personal Mac? What the? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Someone needs to mute because there is some sort of a dishwashing or some sort of sound.
Oh, sorry.
There.
That's
my
Sage.
sister.
Yeah.
Okay, try now. So let me share the link again on the chat. Okay, click on the link. Okay. There you go. Okay, just right click on that and then download. Or yeah, on the top and download. No, not print. Okay, and click and drag that into your desktop. Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So let's go back to Python and let's continue with the code. So now that we have our text file in our desktop or in our place, our location where our code is being saved, what we're going to do is we're going to read this file. So to read this file, we're going to erase this. So read this file. So let's erase this up to here to open. Okay, and in here, again, remember, we need two things. We need what file are we opening and what mode are we doing. So the name of the file is called capitals.txt. So I'm going to put quotation marks and I'm going to type capitals.txt. Okay? Then I'm going to put a comma and then another quotation marks. And in here, remember, we have three modes: read, write, and append. Right now, we're only reading. So we're going to type in R to read. Okay? The next thing we want to do is we want to grab all the information inside that file. To read all the information, we're going to type in, let's just call this variable data. And data is going to be file1.read, open close parentheses. Okay? All we're doing is we have the file. We're going to read the file, and we're going to dump all that data into data. Okay? Once we have that, we're going to close the file. So we're going to say file1.close. Okay? It's always important for you to remember that when you open a file, you need to close it. If not, then if other system processes are trying to open the file, they're going to run into an error, and that's not good. Okay, so now we have all the data inside the file. It's called data. To read the data, we're just going to type in print and then data, and then we're going to see what's inside. So I'm going to press F5. Okay. And now I think your IDE should show you this. It says squeezed text, 50 lines. So just double click it, and then you should see all the data that's inside. Oh, sorry. Am I sorry if I'm not? Am I sharing my screen? Oops. Do you guys see my screen now? I'm sorry. If you guys can't see my screen, just say something. Sometimes I forget to go back to my screen. Yeah. So this is the code you guys should be. You guys should write. It's going to say file 1, and we're going to open. We're going to open capitals.txt. We're going to read. Okay. Then we read that file and put all that information into data. Okay. Then we close it, and then all we want to do is we want to print that data. You press F5, and then this is what you should get. You should get all the states and their capitals. Okay, does everyone have this?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's working? Sahasra?
Yeah.
Okay, and what about you, Sage?
Oh, I'm still typing it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, got it.
Okay, you ran it, right? And it works?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now we have all this information, right? So now what we want to do next is we want to read this information. And again, we're going to make mini quizzes for everyone, asking what is the capital of this city, of this state. And it's going to be randomized. So what we need to do now is we're going to work with a random library. Why do we use random library? Because the random library is able to give us a random number or do random things. So what we're going to do is all the way up here, the first line of Python, we're going to type in import random. Okay, oops, sorry. And then random is our random library. Okay. So once we have random library, well, now we can do random events. A cool function we can use in random is called shuffle. So if we have a list of things, we can give it to random, and then random randomizes it. It shuffles it around, and it gives us back a shuffled list. So the way to do that is we need to have a list. Right now, we don't have a list. Right now, we just have this huge text. To have a list of this huge text, the easy way we can do this is just instead of file1.read, we're going to say read lines, an S, read lines. And then this will give us back a list of all the stuff inside inside data. Okay. Once we have that, if we print data, so press F5 again and print data, now it's going to give you this. Okay. Now, there's something if you haven't noticed, there's a /n at the end of each state and capital. You see a /n. So remember, /n is to make a new line. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of this /n. There's two ways of doing this. One way is for us to manually go through each file, each line and remove it. That's the easiest way. The hardest way is doing what is it called? List comprehension, which is something advanced. Python encourages you to do it, but it's a little advanced for you guys. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through each one and then remove the /n. To do that, we can call this p data. For P stands for parsed. So I just don't want to write the whole word parse. So parse p data. And what I want to write is p data is equal to a blank. So open bracket and close bracket. Okay, this is called an empty list. So this list is like a shopping list for groceries. Right now, this list is empty. The stuff we want to write in here is the things, and then comma, more stuff, right? And comma, and so on and so forth. Okay, but for now, we just have an empty list. We just want open bracket and close bracket. Okay. Once we have that, we're going to write a for loop. We're going to say for line in data. Okay, so what's going on here is we are going through each line of data. So data is this whole thing where it reads the lines back. So our list of lines, and we're going through each line. So what I did is I called a variable called line, and line is going to represent that line. So every time the loop goes, line goes first line, and then line goes to the second line, and third one, and fourth one, and fifth one, and so on and so forth. So it's slowly going to go through the list. Okay, we're iterating through the list. And what I want to do is, once I get line, for example, let's take a look here. We have Alabama, Montgomery, and then /m. So this is going to be our first line. And what do we want to do with that line? We want to remove /n. So what we're going to type in is we're going to say n line, so new line, equals line dot r strip, open close parentheses. Okay. Oh, actually, it's not r strip, just strip. Okay, line dot strip. Okay, and what strip is basically it's going to remove all or any special characters it has at the front and back of the line. Okay, r, if you put r, it's only going to put at the end. So we don't want that. We want everything to go away. So here it's just going to get rid of /n. Once we have that, that's our new line, and we want that new line to be inside p data, so our new information. So here we're going to type in p data dot append. So we're adding to the list, and what do we want to add? We want to add the new line. So we're going to say n line. Okay. Once we have that, we're going to type in print p data. We're going to press F5, and now if you take a look, all the lines now don't have /n. It's completely removed. So now it's just the text, it's just the state and the capital. Okay? So this is called parsing information. Basically, we're removing excess information that we don't want, or we're just picking stuff that we want in our text. Okay? Is everyone okay for this far?
Mine's not working.
Okay, can you show me your screen so I can see what's going on?
So when I click F5 for this, it doesn't remove the slashes.
It doesn't remove the slashes because you're still printing data. So see how we're putting everything in p data? At the bottom of your code, it just says data. So you're just printing the same data. You have to print p data.
Thank you.
Now try it out.
Thank you, it worked.
Awesome. Samantha and Sage, do you guys have it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Sage?
I think so.
What do you mean you think so? You press F5 and see if it, you know, if you don't have any /n.
It has like a red line in the middle of it.
Sage, can you open your screen? Can you
Yeah.
show your screen?
Okay. Oh, so you're missing a space between 4 and line. You put 4 line.
Oh.
There you go. That's not German. Yeah, and you have the same error. P data. Oh, wait, hold on. You have the same error. So at the last thing, you see how it says just data? It's supposed to be P data. The last line.
Oh.
Okay, P and capital D. Remember, capitalization matters because your variable starts with capital D. You have to put capital D from now on. Same thing with the line before it.
Okay. It still has the
Yeah, because see, read the error. It says P data is not defined. Why isn't that defined? Because D has to be what?
oh yeah. There's another one.
There you go.
Very good. Looks like he's able to understand.
It's working.
Perfect. Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, good. All right, so let's go back to my screen. So, okay, so everyone should be able to see my screen. Okay, so now we have all our states separated by comma. So now the next thing we want to do is we're going to grab each one, and we're going to grab each information, and we're going to stuff it into, we want to randomize all this information. So now that we have random in this, we can use something called a shuffle. Sorry, it's lost my dot shuffle. So if you guys don't have to do this, just take a look at the screen. So we're going to type in dot shuffle. Sorry, random dot shuffle, and I want to shuffle P data. I'm going to run this. Oh, whoops, sorry. Oh, hold on, guys, sorry. Why is it printing none? Oh, I'm sorry. This doesn't return anything. This is a command, and then you print P data. Okay. Okay, there you go. So now take a look at this. We do random.shuffle, and then random.shuffle takes in a list. We have our list. Our list is called P data, right? And then once it shuffles everything, you just type in print P data to get your information back, or to print what's the current information. So you see here, now it says Nebraska, where at the beginning we start with Alabama, right? So now it says Nebraska, New York, Hawaii, and so on and so forth. If I run this again, now it's a different order. Now we have Colorado, Rhode Island, Tennessee, and so on and so forth, right? Depending on what shuffle you get, that's the information you get back. When you guys write this, you guys can write this in your code. When you guys write this and you guys are comparing it with mine, now you guys will start getting different information because yours is now random, shuffling random information, or shuffling the information in a random order. So your order and my order will not be the same. If they are the same, that's pretty lucky. Okay, so type in these two lines, random.shuffle, and then print p data, and then run it, press F5, and then you guys should see the code.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Mine's not working.
Okay, do you want me to show me your code? Do you have import random? Because this line is important.
Yeah, I have it.
What's the code say?
I've shared my screen with you.
Okay. Yeah, your code is not the same as my code. Take a look at what it says on print statement. The last line. Yeah.
Oh,
My code and your code. See how it's different?
thank you.
Awesome. Samantha, everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so remember, we are, and Sage, sorry, I forgot Sage. Sage, what about you? Does it work?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So remember, what we went through is we are using a library. This library is called random, okay? To bring in a library, we just type in the command import and then the name of our library, okay? So import random. And the purpose of random is to shuffle our list, okay? Here we're reading a text file or a command called read. Oh, sorry, let me actually go back to presenting, sorry. Okay, so everyone should be able to see my screen. Okay, so again, we have import random, and then we have file, we make a variable called file1, and we open up our text using read mode. Okay, we're only reading. And then we read all the lines. So now each line is separated by a comma. So they all become a list separated by comma. And that information is being stored in data. Once we do that, we close the file. So if other processes want to use it, they can now use it because we're done using it. Then what we do is we have a /n at the end because when we read these files, they have a /n. So to fix that information, we are going to delete that data. So we're going to read each line. We're going to go line by line, and we're going to do a command called strip. Okay, stripping is basically removing the last part of the text, basically removing new lines, tabs, /r, which is those are all special characters. So it removes those special characters, and we make a new variable called new line. So now this new line is just the content we want, just the meat we want. Once we have that, we put it inside this this list. To put stuff in a list, we type in append, and we're appending the new line, basically the new line we just got. Then after we do all that, we have this whole list of stuff. And what we want to do is we want to shuffle the stuff around. So what we do is we use random.shuffle, and it just shuffles everything around. Here it's saying, oh, what do you want to shuffle? You want to shuffle p data. And then we print p data, and now we have this shuffled stuff, okay? The next thing we want to do is we only want to pick 5 questions out of the 50. We want to pick 5 cities out of the whole 50 cities, or let's just say 10 because it's a quiz. Quiz have 10 questions. So here, what we want to do is the cool thing in Python is that you can do something called indexing, and it's really handy with lists. So to index a list, so we can have to put square brackets after the list, and we're gonna do a colon in the middle. Okay, the colon separates what is your starting index and what's your end index. Okay, what we want to do is we want to get the first 10 cities. So to put only 10, so we're not gonna put anything in the front because we want to start wherever the front is, and at the end we're gonna put a 10. Okay, so it's gonna read bracket empty colon 10 bracket and then parentheses. Okay, so we're not gonna put anything in front of the colon. So now when we press F5, now it's only gonna give you 10 things out of the whole 50 things you chose. Okay, are we good? Again,
Yep.
all we're doing is we're indexing. We're only putting the quotation, the brackets, and we're putting a colon and then 10. Basically asking only to get the 10, the first 10 things. Okay, so once we have that, the next thing we want to do is we want to write our question. Our question is going to be, we only want to get the name of the, I'm sorry, the state. Yeah, we want to get the name of the state, and then we want to compare it with the city. So to do that, we're going to type for city, or no, we're going to type info. So for info in data.
It takes really playing.
I'm sorry? What was that? Okay. So for info and p data, so we're going through all the lines in our new thing. Sorry. Yeah. So our remember our new 10 things. Oh, I forgot one thing. Here we don't print anymore. We're gonna store this information back into p data. So we're gonna say p data equals p data bracket 10. Okay. So we're not printing anymore. Make sure you have this line. P data equals P data bracket colon 10. Okay. So now that once we have that, we're gonna go line by line, and we're gonna ask the question. What is the capital of this state? I mean. So to do that, we go line by line, and then we break it up because we know each line has a comma. So we're gonna break it up according to comma. So we're gonna say city state equals info dot split quotation mark comma. Okay. So now we have this information. We split the information by comma. So now we have a city state. Basically, we have city, comma, state. Okay. Now we know our city is the first thing. No, sorry, our state is the first thing. So we're going to say state equals city state bracket 0. And then we're going to say city equals city state 1. Okay. So now we have our state, which is 0, and our city 1. Now, why am I putting a 0 here? Why am I putting a 1? Because if you take a look at the screen, oh, come on. Yeah, if you take a look at the screen here, let's just say we have our state, right? So our city state, our city is bracket. I'm just gonna put LA because I don't want to type Los Angeles, and I'm gonna type in Cali. It's too much typing. So we have our city here and our state here. Sorry, it should be the other way around. It should be Cali and then LA. So let me erase this quickly. And here we're going to say city equals state. My mouse skills are the best. And then LA. Okay. So what happens here? I'm sorry, this is like bad. My mouse is like twisted. So here what we have is this is our first object. So here we have a comma. Okay. Here we have a comma. Okay. So here we have one object, which is California, and then we have LA. So here, this in our list, this becomes number 0, and this becomes number 1. Okay. Why 0? Because in programming, when you start counting things, you always start with 0. This is index 0, and then we have 1. But let's just say if we have let's just say we have another list called C, and we have R, G, B, yellow, Y. So here we have this R, which is R is at 0, G is in 1, B is in 2, and Y is 3. Okay? So if you want to get the second object is what? Index number 1. Okay? So we're going to say C bracket, oh, sorry, no colon, 1. So C1. C1 gives you G. C3 gives us back Y. If I get C4, right? What is C4 going to get me? C4 is not going to get me anything because there's nothing there. So this is going to give me an error. Okay. Actually, sorry, there's no quotation mark. It's just the 4. So C4 is just going to give me blank, nothing. So that's what we have to do. It's here. That's what we're doing. Here, the information that we have is New Jersey and Trenton. Okay. Here, we're splitting it by comma. So now we have New Jersey as our first thing, and then Trenton as our second thing. So this is 0, and this is 1. We know that state is going to be 0, so it's New Jersey. Perfect. And we have city, which is 1, Trenton. Okay. One last thing we need to do is we need to strip this. So we're going to do dot strip. Dot strip. Okay. And now we have our city and state. Okay. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to ask our question. We're going to say print what print what is the capital of I'm going to put a space bar here, quotation mark, plus sign because we're appending, and we're going to do city. Sorry, state. Plus sign, quotation mark, and then question mark. Okay. So here it's just asking what is the capital of, and then we insert state, and then quotation mark. Once we have that, we're gonna ask the user to input something. So we're gonna say answer equals, or yeah, answer equals raw, no, not raw input, sorry, input. Sorry, str input. And then here, we're just gonna close it like this. Okay, so now we're expecting something back. Here we're gonna say if answer is equal to the city, that means that the person answered the correct one. We say print correct. Okay. Else print wrong. Okay, and then you move on to the next question. So now if you press F5 and you run this, this is what's going to happen. So now we have, what is the capital of Kentucky? Yeah. So here, I don't know the capital of Kentucky, so I'm just going to say yay, and press enter. So now, well, look, I ran into an error. So I ran into an error, and I can figure this out. So here, it says the name error answer is not defined. So the problem here is that I misspelled answer. I put anwer. I forgot the S, so answer. There you go. And I press F5. I run this. What is the capital of Alabama? I think it's, what is it?
Montgomery.
Montgomery. Okay, Montgomery. I don't know how to spell this. Wait, I know. Montgomery, like this. Okay, see, and it says correct. Okay, now what's the capital of Hawaii? It is Honolulu, but just for the heck of it, I'm just gonna type in Indiana, and then I get it wrong. Okay, what is the capital of North Dakota? I can go wrong again. I can say Trenton. And then and what's the capital of Illinois? I don't know my stuff. I'm sorry. Illinois, Springfield. So press Springfield, and I have it correct. Okay, and you can go on over and over and over. Okay, so there you go. Are you guys able to work on this, or would you guys get it working?
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
really. Not working that well.
I'm sorry,
It's not working that well.
it's not working that well. What's wrong?
It's kind of glitchy.
Mm, what do you mean it's kind of glitchy?
Like whenever I type something, it takes quite a while to like get onto the page. It's really glitchy for me.
Can I see your thing?
I
Can I
mean,
see your
it's
screen?
I'm not.
I'm sorry.
I'm not finished typing yet.
Oh, you're not. Oh, okay.
Also, we will be posting this on the YouTube channel. So you should be able to review this and be able to cross-check and then, in fact, play with this to add your own cool ideas.
Okay. What about Sage? Do you have it working, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. And then the last thing, if you guys want to work on this on yourself,
Well, let's check Samantha.
Samantha says she's fine. Right, Samantha?
Okay. Are you there?
Yeah.
And you are good, right? You are working. Everything
Yeah.
is working for you.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. The next thing I would like you guys to do is write these files. So we're gonna make 10 files. 10 files that are gonna get random the random cities, and I'm gonna display them. It's gonna make them into 10 files. So we know how to read. All you need to do is now write. So let me give you an example for one, and then you guys can try to figure it out by yourself. So to write one, after this stuff, we're going. So instead of printing the information and writing the information here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these. These things here, these lines here. I'm going to press Alt 3. And here I'm going to say question equals this. Okay.
Mine's not working.
It's not working. Can I take a look at your code?
Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Okay. Can you run your code and see what's going on? Okay. So read the error that says there. It says name error, name city state is not defined, and it's on line number 16. So go to line number 16. So line number 16 reads city equals city state. No, not that one. It's this one up here. That's line number 16. So here the problem is city state is not defined. Reason why? Because the S in city state is capital.
Oh.
There you go.
Thank you.
And now read the same thing here. Read your error. This is name. You misspelled answer. That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh.
But I win, sir. Print, not Y. Printing. No Y. Remove the Y. Yeah. I think you misspelled Montgomery, but you know, Montgomery is with the G-O, Montgomery, G-O-M. So run your code again. Yeah, yours is not shuffling because you didn't write the line for shuffle. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know Alaskan stuff. The Juneau, Juneau. There you go. Yeah. So yeah. So let me go back to my thing and quickly show you guys the thing I was talking about, and you guys can figure it out on your own time. So let me go back to my screen. Okay. So again, I just comment this stuff out, and then here I have my question. My question is, what is the capital of black, right? And then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write to a file. So up here, we need to we need to open the file, and then when we're done writing to the file, we're going to close it. So here we're going to type file2 equals open, and the file we want to write is, let's just call it questions for, or you know what, we're going to call it quiz dash capitals. Yeah, that's what I'm going to write. .txt. Okay. And then the mode, remember we're writing to it, so we're going to press W to write to a file. Okay. So once we have this, we're going to write to the file. So once we have our first question is what is the capital of this? We're going to write it here. We're going to say file2 dot write, and we're going to write our question. Okay. And remember, after this, we need to write a /n. So after the question mark, we're going to type in /n for a new line. Okay. Then we have question. We close parentheses. And then at the end, we're going to do file2 dot close. Okay. And that is it. We press F5. We run it. And it should be done. If we check our files, now we have a text file called quiz capitals. You open it up. Now it gives you all these, all the questions. Okay. And then what you will need to figure out is how to make, instead of 10 questions, I want you to write 15 questions. So how would you write 15 questions? Okay. And you guys can figure that on yourself, by yourself. Okay. So that is it for today. So again, we have our random library. We have opening files, closing files, the types of reading actions. We have read, we have write, and we have A. Today we didn't use A for append, but we can. But you know it's there. Parsing information. Parsing information is just picking information apart and only using what we want. Indexing. We have a list, and we only want you know, to grab certain information from our in this case our list. We can do indexing for strings, but that's another topic. Okay, and yeah. Does anyone have any questions about what we went through today? I guess someone left.
All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you in the next session, hopefully. Meanwhile, either today or tomorrow, this presentation will be available on the channel. The link will be on the same website. Share that with your parents if they're not with you right now. And see you in the near future.
All right, guys. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.